Good. And now we are live, 3 seconds into it. Melanie, sound check?
Hello, hello, testing, testing.
Wonderful. Okay, so here we are, our first go at it. And my coffee's not even made, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on, let's see if the camera, okay, this is really advanced technology I have here. I'm going to light the fire under the coffee. Do you have a beverage of choice on your end?
I do. I brought my coffee. I was gonna bring my heretic mug that has a big FU finger, but I figured this would be more palatable for our audience.
Okay, the FU mug is going to come out when we have a paywall. When we have the place, there's certain things that are only going to come out on the other side of certain walls, right?
For sure.
Is that okay? That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so I have this Dr. Seuss image up here. I can practice with, here we go, split screen. And let's see here. I wanted to show you something else I've got from this program. Look at that. We can have a banner. Isn't that hilarious? Yeah. Oh, have you been involved in television production or anything like that before?
No, never. No.
Okay. Well, I'm having all these flashbacks. My first husband did live television stuff. So like I heard about it a lot and I got to see it happen sometimes, but now I'm like, oh no. I don't know if, there's reasons they have like broadcasting rules and stuff. And I can get banned. I could get banned from YouTube. In fact, in order to set this up, yeah. But I mean, this is why I need projector help, right? Or something. God knows what would happen if I had a reflector on right now.
Well, I guess we're lucky it's not a third line day. It could be worse.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, we're not, let's see here. Third line day yesterday. It was, yes. Will use any means aligned with any force and endure any condemnation to achieve the goal. That's third line of 43.
It's raw. Yeah.
Yeah, it's raw.
That was his line.
That's a good point. It was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he had both, right? I mean, yep. They were his nodes. And so we are like in his nodes right now.
Well, one of those things that I was saying to you before is how I've really noticed that there are certain people who have Gate 23 that have just been so epic on my journey. It's especially those like yourself who have Jupiter in 23, but also people who have, there could be nodal stuff going on. There could be the sun in 23, but that's the gate that bridges my link node. So it just, I don't know. There's always just something magical. My teacher is one of them as well. So I'm just super grateful to be here. Super grateful and excited to be your first guest in the cafe.
Thank you very much. Well, I couldn't have planned it. I mean, you see how I barely did. I barely planned it, but maybe this is what I'm learning how to do. But you being splenic, I mean, I know just enough to understand, well, if I'm with another splenic person, then it's going to happen.
Anything goes.
The only thing that can get in the way is my mind thinking I'm supposed to do more before. Like, it would have been great if I had a hair and makeup person, because look at what happened.
Well, I'm a fifth line, so I mean, it's like part of the parcel.
Okay, well,
I can't show up on a live stream looking like
crap. So so you're speaking of the 23s in your life, because you have a bridge. Well, it's not a split for you, but it's a definition of your ajna. It's somebody that you meet 23s.
Well, it's because, I mean, and this is kind of like more advanced, and I'm not an expert in this, like by any means. It's just that in terms of our nodal environments, or our design nodes and our personality nodes, which is basically the stage upon which we fulfill our purpose. There's there's like different ways that the nodes connect, and kind of in some ways are what link the design and the personality together, which are, two totally separate things that are basically held together in the illusion of our separateness. And So the north node, the design north node, and
Yeah.
the personality south node, those
Yeah.
are our link nodes. And so
Yeah.
in my design, there is a gate that actually bridges those together, and it's
I
gate
see.
23. Yeah.
I see. Okay, I get what you're saying there. Okay, so for me, I remember but this doesn't stick too well. So my link nodes, my south personality node is 42. My north design node is 50, and they're both line 4. And whoa, look at how they're kind of.
It's the
Oh,
27 for you.
oh shit.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that with you.
Oh, dude. Oh no, no wonder.
Because
And I
it's
thought it was.
yeah.
Oh. Oh man, because that's a deal in my dream rave also, the 27. And so since I became aware of that, I've been like, oh dude, okay, no wonder they're all designed 27s. But there are a lot, and they're not the best people per se. But they they link their, oh wow, okay, so there's that level. On another level, I have a split at 43 because I have head definition. And so and I've had some years, but I haven't been a great studier per se. But I had a session with like an elder recently, and my homework for like a year's worth of homework is to study gate 43. So that's why it's just open in the book. It's just open all the time now. I'm just reading it all the time now, and the earth is there now. And I don't remember which line you have. You don't have
three. I've got 3 of them.
That's right. But you're not the only projector around me that has more than 143. So look at me. Condition me, baby. Condition
Bring on the
me.
breakthrough.
Make me whole.
Bring on the breakthrough. Yeah. Yeah. Powerful stuff. And the current transit field, I don't know. I just was super curious. Yesterday, I was just kind of musing to myself how much I love this energy, not necessarily in its expression in the collective, but just having this temporary definition. And nodal cycles are something that I find particularly intriguing. And of course, if you've been studying human design, you get to, or astrology even, a full nodal cycle is 18.6 years, and a half nodal cycle is 9.3 years. So I was just kind of wondering to myself, like, what happened the last time that the nodes were in these gates? And
I was wondering too. So what year was it? Did you figure that out?
Yeah, it was like January to March 2013, which explains everything. Like, so much.
Dude.
So
Yeah.
much, so much, so much. So yeah, it's like this is the type of energy where it's like just my mind is being blown constantly, and to now be seeing things through the lens of human design, it's just like really, really, really trippy.
Yes, it is. Okay, so something that came to mind for me yesterday on this subject of the nodes is I'm obviously pretty amped by this transit also. Okay, like my mouth and yeah. And then, but I've had, things that have happened in this week and other years are notable. But this year's seems like healthy, like, whatever. But then I was remembering that Raw in Munich in 1994. Have you seen that? Raw in Munich in 1994. Okay, so he's in his hat, he's in his outfit. He is
Yes.
his energy is so on. And when I saw it, it was like one of the early videos of introducing the human design system to the world. And I was like, dude, what are you on? And I looked at the transit, and it was a 4323 nodal transit. And he had what, gate 2, and 14 was in transit. I think it was Pluto. I think so. He was 214, 18, and 4323 with the transit all the way. And I was like, oh, that's what happens to manifestors.
Wow.
So I was thinking about that. I don't know, agents of the program we are. Yeah, we could use some projector awareness around that. Okay, so do you want to do a toast with the
I would love
drug.
that. I've been looking forward to having coffee in Mexico with you for a long time. So
Yay. Okay. Well, this will be the one. This will be the one. Okay. Cheers.
cheers.
Okay, so I'm really, really particular about it, and I let it go away. And even like knowing that I got to drink coffee with you today, I didn't have it for the past 3 days.
Ooh.
Yeah. um, so let's see. Hey, we just rolled right along. Apparently, we've been live for 10 minutes. There's 2 hearts up there next to these 2 eyeballs, so that means there's 2 people watching and 2 people picking up the heart. I don't know who they are. Let's see. There's a section over here where I can make comments. Let's see. Live viewer comments can't show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click a comment to show it on screen. Okay, some destinations don't get comments. I don't know. I'm just going to try this. It's like a, chat screen on the side.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
We'll
see a
see.
tab here with comments too. Hola. Hola.
Okay, right. Okay. Um, let's see here. This is my kitchen. Let's see. Maybe I don't know. I don't have a, oh, hey, another projector joined us. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, isn't she? Yes, I don't know her very well, but lovely, lovely to see you there.
She's like my other half, literally.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I mean, no, like not really, not really, but like we're just. If you talk about complementary energies, it's like unreal. Yeah.
And like choiceless about it, right? Like you're like, okay, this happens or it doesn't happen. Okay, and Rachel's with us, so we have a manifestor with us also. Okay, so let's see. We have about 45 more minutes. I've got 3 slides, the 2 that you made, and then this one, which has come up for me before in human design. So you didn't suggest this, but you brought up Dr. Seuss, and this is what came to my mind because, I mean, my life has never been very normal or whatever, but damn, it's gotten like, wow, things happen. How did I end up here kind of effect? But the place where I was introduced to this woman who taught me how to sail, she is based in the Seattle area, and she's been around the world on a wooden sailboat twice with all female crew. And when I was getting divorced, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be divorced. I didn't get to learn how to sail from this guy. I was like, I need to learn from somebody. Maybe sailing's for me or not. And so I got to hire this woman and invite a female friend, and we went sailing for a week, and then it was over. And at the end of it, she sat us down with this book. Lisa and I sat down with what's her name, Nancy, and yeah, the places you'll go. Such a great attitude Dr. Seuss had. Do you know anything about his design? Are you close with him? Okay.
I was as a child.
Right? Okay, well, that's good. So do you want to make a suggestion to me about whether we should go into our slides that you prepared now? I mean, I don't see why not, but I guess I want to say, like, do you want to tell me what to do or ask me any questions?
Doesn't any projector love that?
Yeah, yes, please tell me what to do. I've got coffee. I'm getting high. What can I do?
Well, I just feel like the way that all of this unfolded was so incredible because it really gave me the opportunity to really practice correctness. And I knew instantaneously when you asked me to do this that it was clearly a yes. But you had asked me to kind of reproduce this thing that I had spontaneously posted to my Facebook about my own deconditioning process.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been intrigued by your chart for quite some time. I kind of had, this is like maybe it's kind of creepy stalker, but I had saved it to my to my phone gallery, my photo gallery, and I would look at it sometimes, and But I never had it loaded into my own software and stuff. And I was like, the day is going to come when we get a chance to talk about this. But then when it came time to sit down and then try to recreate what I did for me, for you, my seeing and the way that my seeing was engaged with your design, it was like, I can't do that. It didn't feel authentic, and it felt like it would have been kind of contrived, and me trying to just like prove that I because it's so organic what comes out of me. Not only am I skinny, but I'm also a quad right. I could have sat there and I could have, it looks good on paper type of thing. But for me, the magic happens when I actually interface with somebody. And by no means did I want to make assumptions about who you are. And that's why it's more like I wanted to check in with you about things and kind of explore stuff together instead of me making some bold statements on my own.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, it did. It does. And from my perspective, I'm sensing something like stuff can happen live that is not going to happen otherwise, because otherwise my mind is going to get in the way of how it should be structured. Like, yeah. So now I'm just thinking about this, like, if my law school exams had been oral exams, if they had said, here's the question and talk, I would have fucking aced law school. But, I aced all the other academics and not law school because it was a written test with just a few questions. Here's 3 hours, right? And I was like, really thinking about how to make it look good for the client. And so I didn't actually get the answers out. And as I was getting ready for this morning, I'm like, fuck, this is kind of stupid. I've got like 44 minutes left. I don't have my hair. I don't even know where this is, like, but okay, but it's going to happen and then it's going to be okay. And I was like, this is just like going climbing or getting off the dock with the boat. At a certain moment, you're on. And guess what? That's your whole fucking life. I say it's your law, your personality, Jupiter in gate 20. So just do it.
But again, no coincidence that this ties into so much about what I wanted to talk about with you, even bringing in your past life lawyer experience, because even though we're very different, there was something that I found, just this kind of like delicious parallel between what happens when I try to engineer my perfected form and when I try to strategize about what it is that I'm going to say, rehearse what I'm going to say, as opposed to just allowing things to be pulled out of me in the moment. And there was, obviously with the bridging gates that you have and with the definition that you have, there could be a massive conflict when you basically like contort yourself into a pretzel trying to put your spontaneous knowing into this logical box. Like it just.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stop you there because I love it. You're talking about me and it's useful and it's me. But I want to let people know that this is the graphic that you made about you that was so impressive to me. I was like, dude, that's so clear. Such a good story. I mean, like, this is so useful for other people. If you could do this for other people. And so I asked you to do it for me. And then this is what you're talking about. Like, it didn't come out the same way. But my design, so I guess we could put up what you made about mine. Would you like to go there next? Does that make sense?
And if I could even just kind of explain just a little bit about like what, can I explain a little bit about this chart and why I did it like this before?
Yes, I think it's great. I would love you to talk about your chart and then tell me when to bring up the one you made for me.
Perfect. Okay. So this is the thing, okay? I am a certified living your design guide, and I am an analyst in training. I am not yet a certified analyst. I've completed my first year of analyst training, PTL1, and I'm about to start PTL2. Fantastic teacher, Lavina Archers, who I must say, honestly, I I hit what I consider to be the ultimate jackpot, because I have never in my life been so recognized and encouraged to learn in a way that is organic to me. So, like you were talking about this law exam and stuff, if you were able to just talk, there's a lot that's kind of interesting in pursuing human design, like an official human design education, because on it's like being honored for who you are, yet at the same time, there's certain hoops that you need to jump through, and certain expectations that are with totally outside of the framework within which I feel comfortable. So I've been very, very, very fortunate to have a teacher who just nourishes my way. And so in this first year of analyst training and through other kind of self-study stuff, you start to learn where the mind lodges itself, like where it gets stuck. So there's this hierarchy, and I'm not going to be going into the hierarchy. I'm not an expert about the hierarchy, but all this to say that with what I did for myself here, I was really, I mean, if you take a look at where all of those green asterisks are, you can see, and this might be more interesting to people who are in design, but all of those are gates where there is another gate pointed at it from a defined center.
Yeah.
So there's always this consistent pressure being directed at those open gates, and those are called mental conditioners. So these are places where really the mind can get super hung up on whatever the theme of that gate is. So all I did for myself was I wove together, using some keynotes according to the way that I do it, I put together a little paragraph. You know, when you learn human design, it's all about keynoting. And I've been, I guess you could say, somewhat resistant to keynoting in very traditional ways. But with my quad rightness, I just weave it together in ways that feel resonant to me by seeing things like in a more holistic way.
Okay, well, I would like to, can I read your language here? So I don't know if this does anyone any good, but I don't even know how visible it is to other people, like if the language is good, but you have these green asterisks, and then they show up in this paragraph up here in green about those gates. So if only I can proactively show others my profound commitment to caring through being resourceful and to ambitiously fixing what's wrong, I will prove how worthy and nice I am, how endurant and quick and accommodating I am, which will help me gain a sense of control and empowerment. Yeah, that's the story you've been telling yourself?
See, this is the thing, okay? What spurred all of this is my teacher, Lavina Archers, recently had reposted a reworked article that she had once written for Jovian. And the term that she used, which I thought was so freaking brilliant, was not self-generosity. Yeah. And so this is the whole thing, is that through our openness, oftentimes is what we are almost like over giving in a way, or overdoing, or on some level. And it just, I was in my car driving to my office on, I think it was last Saturday. I was just getting all these downloads, like, and so the other day, I don't know, I was just sitting, I woke up, I got to my computer, and I started writing the first blog post, honestly, in 2 years. And then before I knew it, I had this little graphic made, and I just spontaneously posted to my Facebook. And the blog post, which I don't know when it will ever see the light of day, I can't make any promises. And my inspiration is inconsistent, but I kind of feel like each and every one of us has this, like, almost like life theme. And what's really cool is that it's almost like where our real gifts can then end up getting distorted. And instead of having the intended effect, it then ends up creating massive resistance. So for me, and this eventually, if it ever happens, will be the title of the blog post, is on being indispensable. So anybody who knows me knows that I always have the right touch, the right words. I just know what to say. I'm able to just pop in, provide exactly what is needed in that moment. But it's kind of like a little kid who puts on their little show and the parents are clapping for it. And then it kind of ends up becoming a trained seal because it gets to learn, like, oh, well, this is what I'm good at.
Yeah.
To get love and attention, I'm going to keep on doing this. So I got really good at anticipating other people's needs, whether or not actually needed them, whether or not it was actually wanted. And so instead of being aligned to my strategy and authority, I was always offering it, pushing it onto people, imposing it without it being asked. So instead of actually being really recognized for my gifts, I was either rejected or I was abused for my generosity. I was taken advantage of. So this is really one of the big things that I'm exploring is like how our gifts, like something that is so beautiful, can become really poisonous to ourselves and to others if we're not wielding our energy in the way that we're designed to.
Okay, with that, I'm like, okay, take me apart, look at my chart and tell me what the hell's been going on, because I'm ready. Are you ready to look at my chart with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a lot of notes, like a brain dump that I did with my completely open head and undefined ajna. It's really helpful, but I feel like there's so many people who want to deconstruct design, and in learning it, I can understand how it's very helpful, but ultimately we cannot look at one without looking at the whole. And so something that I've noticed often is that whatever the not self agenda is, it's always going to in some way revolve around our signature and revolve around our type as well. So for you as a manifestor, I mean, so much about being a manifestor is just about like freedom of movement, flying under the radar, avoiding punishment, being at peace, like all of these things are so important. So this big thing that I kind of have like, I want to like pull back the curtain on, something that I've weirdly noticed, okay, especially with 6-2 manifestors, either with an undefined solar plexus or with an unconsciously defined solar plexus, is that their strategy to be at peace is to make sure that everything around them is peaceful, to create peace in the relationships outside of them. So it's like, well, if everything outside of me is okay, then I'll be okay. But ending up putting your own actual peace in the back seat, like not realizing that your way to peace is actually through doing you, like doing you. And then through doing you, your life will shift to accommodate that.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's something that you could relate to personally, like different ways that you have either shape shifted to go undetected, trying to create peace on the outside to
I don't know, because it's been so long since I left the life that was up to age 35, right? Like basically it's been this nothing consistent since 2016, since I met human design, really. And so all of those like triggers of, you know, like a partner, a mortgage, a job, you know, like a family, all of that stuff's been gone since 2016. So I haven't been forced to interact with anybody in all that time, except, you know, for the material life and what I was choosing to do. So I don't know what to say about that. If I was doing that when I was married, when I worked in a firm and that kind of stuff. But I also, I mean, I always get stuck on the peace question about manifestors because I don't know if I'm faking it, but I can't find unresolved anger in me. And so anger can happen in the moment, especially like a physical barrier or something like that, but it goes real fast. So I don't know if that's related to my peace story or not. But it's been a long time since I've tried to accommodate everybody else's shit. Like it's been my fucking life. Sorry, like for a while. I've been super selfish for several years now, and but maybe in my marriage, in my relationship with my mother, I can see those two major relationships maybe. But I don't know.
Well, and I should have maybe clarified because I definitely do not pick up on that at all with you now. And I've obviously met you while on the roof, while like,
Yeah.
living your life in Mexico. But it was more so about your earlier years and how I was super curious to actually ask you growing
Yeah.
up if you felt almost like you stuck out a bit, like not sticking out like a sore thumb, but kind of like I'm kind of not like everybody else. Like I'm kind of
Oh
just
yeah.
trying to fit in, like trying to fit in, trying
Oh
to
yeah.
normalize so that you could just like blend in with other people.
I don't know if I was trying to blend in, but I do know that I stood out, and I thought it was just that I was really smart because that's what my mom told me. So I love the joke of that now. And like whenever the teachers asked a question, I was up in the front and I could raise my hand and I had the answer. Like so. As far as I knew, I just had an overactive mind, and that I needed to do things with it, and that's so there was that. I did get that I didn't play along with the other girls as well sometimes. I had certain things, but yeah, I didn't feel like I fit into their thing. And my mom would tell me things. She had a defined ego, and I don't, but she would tell me things like it's lonely at the top. Or she would just basically tell me, you're better than all of them, so don't worry about it. So that's what I was conditioned with from my mother.
And isn't your view personal?
Personal view, yeah.
So that was one of the things too that I had kind of like remarked, because I noticed this trend as well. People, especially with undefined ego and power view as their distraction. Wow. It could be power view as their actual view too, but having that undefined ego along with that can be super, super difficult because of that pressure to
Mhm.
whether you're seeing that correctly in the world or not, it doesn't really matter, but feeling like you have to measure up in some way. And especially with this undefined G center too, like this capacity. I mean, even though you might not do this, there is a capacity to be able to basically shape shift, not make waves. Let's shape shift. Let's just like not be too weird. Let's put everything into a logical box so that I'm more palatable to other people.
Yeah, I've done all of that. That's true. Yeah, especially like being in the law firm. It was like, okay, I'm not just like a college student or like a law student anymore. Okay, I've got to fit into this scene. I got to put the suit on. I literally have to like put the bra and the pantyhose on. And, okay, I'm gonna fit in here.
Well, and I was wondering too, like, did you grow up in a household where there was fighting between adults, or in your law, it's like when you were practicing law, like were you dealing with people who were fighting with each other?
Yes, yes, and it wasn't like the most vicious fights, but I mean, there was so my specialty was environmental law, but where I really spent the most time was in property, land use, things having to do with real estate. So the most money I made was on family members who were fighting with each other about real property. Yeah.
Look, I don't know why, okay, but I was like really obsessing about this when I was writing my notes. I actually wrote down almost like mediator in mediator in agitated situations.
Uh-huh.
And there was something about your determination and like your 42-4 note.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Where I don't know what it was, but I was just thinking like how, if you were not correctly aligned with whatever it was that you were doing, how actually detrimental that could be to your being, because not only are you taking in this like high sound stuff, but also that middleman energy in a distorted way.
I don't know about the middleman energy as much, so maybe I could hear more about that. But I can give you this one example. Like this one couple, they were from Germany, and two generations of Germans bought property in Oregon, like ranch property to have horses and everything. And 15 years later, it was my case. And it was such a big case. It got to the point because we could have settled, but my clients wouldn't. And eventually we got to the courtroom and I was like, shit, I can't lead this courtroom case. So I said, hey, why don't you hire this really experienced litigator? I'll be his number two. You'll get a good litigator, but I'll still be on the case. So we went to court that way. And so the lead litigator, he had no issues just running the clock on that case. He could tell that these clients wanted it, and anyway. And so we're literally in trial, and I'm literally on my legal pad. I'm literally drawing Om symbols over and over. I was so fucking bored, and the sounds and the smells in the courtroom. I was like, I'm earning so much money. This is a big deal, this case for me, but I'm so fucking bored. And I'm just meditating by drawing while it's all happening. So I don't know. Does that say anything?
Well, for sure. But also like ties in another piece. And this is, okay, disclaimer. It's very heretical. It's very heretical. It's a concept that
Bring it on.
I've tried to broach it in classroom situations. I'm actually hopefully going to have a really good geeky powwow with another human design friend soon about this. But so you know this whole concept of motivation and transference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have noticed that something that is equally as insidious, if not more, for me anyways, I find that it's been more, is the concept of distorted motivation. So it's not being aligned to your correct motivation, but it's about not being aligned to strategy and authority, and for that motivation to be expressed in a fucked up way. So, example, okay? I'll use myself as an example, but I really would then like to kind of bring it back to you. So I'm desire motivated, and I am here like on the, left, right trajectory. I'm right fixed. So it's follower, and I'm really here to follow a way, like a way that is splenically aligned, following a way. And I find just in terms of how deeply motivation is almost experienced as part of one's outer authority. Like when you're aligned and somebody witnesses you from the outside, they observe you. This is something that is supposed to be a tangible thing. They might not know it, but it's something that's supposed to be tangible. So anybody who knows me in my life, they know that I'm always on fire with something. There is some way, there is something that I have like with my spidey sense locked into, and I'm doing that thing. For me, I mean, if other people want to jump on my bandwagon, great, but I'm not here to like actively lead them. However, with my undefined ajna and being a projector, what would end up happening is that I would click on whatever that thing was, and I was like, everybody has to do this. And then I would impose it on everybody in my life. It's like all I would talk about, it would be all that. And I didn't realize that I was literally like I was a missionary. Like, I know that technically the 2-4 is the missionary, but it's like, I was like, just totally going about it wrong. And it was, there are times when I've caught myself, more recent times, caught myself doing that, and like really need to reel myself in. So I was not at all being brought into my transference, which is innocence. And I know that there are beings in my life, I can sense it. The ones who don't honor that I have a way to follow and they try to pull me out of that, I get that now. But this is about me, myself, and the way that my misalignment can distort that motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So with you, you're guilt motivated and your distraction is hope. And surely you've noticed where you can be drawn out of that guilt and into hope. But what I'm curious to know is about this distorted fixing. So, because in many ways, like you are here to be a fixer, and with your 5720, with your, I love how your this is something that I find is like so cosmically perfect about your design is this channel of transformation, a design of being driven, which is the combination of your two moons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, driven to be driven. So there's this, like really intuitive, instinctive, just bleh, like blurting shit out that's maybe, like what has to be said. And yet, in perhaps not being aligned to what works for you as a manifester, how has that fifth color motivation actually been lived out as a distortion?
Well, I don't know if I can answer the question. Can you phrase it can you ask a different kind of question that I could answer? I think
Yeah.
I get your fascination, but I don't know what to say.
Okay, hold on. Let me just sit with this for a sec.
Yeah.
Because in many ways, it's about involvement. And
Okay.
let's not forget, you're a sixth line, right? And the sixth line, in many ways, is designed to be not always detached, not always aloof, but correctly aloof. And especially with that gate 27, not only as a very, very powerful
57?
gate 27.
Okay, I'm okay.
Not
Sure.
only a very powerful mental conditioner in the way that it's configured in your design, but also it involves a type change. You would become a manifesting generator.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, can you relate to, it's almost like an overinvestment in caring instead of having that healthy detachment and bringing in that 5 from this correct splenic place.
Yes. Yes. Now, okay, so now the leg hairs are standing up on my thighs also. Okay. So an overinvestment in caring as if like I can really fix this. I care so much I'm gonna fix this rather than yeah. So the fixing playing with this sort of bridging, it's a sort of a bridging gate, that 27 for me. So if I'm caring and mixing it up with fixing, oh shit, I sure have done that. Uh-huh. I think I can name 2 men right now, but the list is probably going to get to like this long if I really started thinking about it.
Well, and don't forget too, like the 6 is the dreamer, the 6 is the idealist in many ways. So, and sometimes it's correct. Like that's the thing, is that there's no morality. It's just that the combinations that can be created where we could say this is a good thing, this is a bad thing, but the way that they work in combination can end up being really weird. So it's like, if somebody catches you in the right moment where splenically it's correct to initiate something that then ends up being exactly that, that right thing that was needed, it's like great. But not having this mental thing of, and especially being a manifester, how tricky it is, because you could still initiate all the time from the mind. I mean,
Yeah, this is what I don't know how to avoid, except to maybe be live with somebody who can call me on it, right? So I have to have people in my life who can call me on it, and then like, okay. So I'm thinking of an example right now. There was this male, not romantic or anything, and I noticed this thing about him for like months, maybe more than months. But I said, there's no reason to say that. There's no reason to say that. And then one time, it finally I did say it, and it was something that I thought, okay, you got to fix that. I've been noticing this. And one of the things he said, he got really pissed off about it. One of the things, and I was like, dude, I'm just delivering what I saw. And I was like, and he's like denying it from the mind. I'm like, dude, you don't, yeah, it's just your mind denying it, but I'm telling you what I've observed. And you know, this could be fixed in you, basically. And one of the questions he asked was, why would you even say that? And that's run through my head, the question he asked me. And what I was thinking was, well, I would only tell you that if I thought that you could be better for my observation, and it just wasn't the right time to share it yet. So in other words, I care about you enough to tell you this thing that could help you. And maybe, since it's not for me to do the caring, maybe I just should have, I think I should have just cut him out of my life and said, you know, I don't want your frequency in here anymore. I'm, instead of trying to fix him. Is that the kind of thing that I might do?
Well, but you know, it's like, again, it's not to make a judgment call as to whether or
Yeah.
not that was right or wrong, but I wonder how it could have gone differently if, for example, you had said to him, hey, I noticed something like really interesting. And like, are you open to hearing it?
Oh, I did ask him if he wanted to hear it
Oh.
yeah, and then he didn't like it.
Well, then too bad. I mean, you're here to have impact. If he,
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I thought too, because I did ask him. I was like, and I even gave him like a preview, like, this is the subject matter. Okay, we're okay. I've noticed something about you on this topic, but anyway, we can move past that example, because I would like to go ahead. You want to say
just one more thing is that just even given some of the other configurations in your design, it's like you're, even though it's in your best interest to be correct, you're not here to be palatable to other people. Like it is in some ways going, you will be shocking with your individuality. And I don't know. I mean, all you can do is just inform, and at the same time, just observe, like, where is this initiation coming from? Like, is this really splenic?
Well, okay, so but what you say right there is the continual question for me. Like, if my mind even gets involved in questioning it, haven't I missed, you know, being like splenic manifestor? Like, nothing up here is supposed to be part of it, right? So
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you just about the diagram. You made blue asterisks and green asterisks. You're able to see those right now?
Yeah.
Would you like to tell me about the difference, why you chose those different colors there?
So the ones that are in blue, it's because they involve a type change. So whether we're looking at gate 34, whether we're looking at gate 27, whether we're looking at gate 53 or gate 60, they all involve you becoming a manifesting generator.
Uh-huh. And so are you saying there's a different kind of not self-pressure at a place that would change my type?
Well, I mean, it's really, really attractive to the mind. And all of this not knowing when enough is enough and overdoing it. So because we are so genetically attracted to what we are not, those are some places in our design that can be really attractive. They might not be, for example, as prevalent, for example, is your bridging gates. So you could see kind of what bridging the ajna and the throat. You've got these two bridging gates that would bring your two areas of definition together. So there is always this huge pressure to be able to get your knowing out, but like getting it out in a way that you're not going to be rejected. Like I need to put this in a logical box so that people don't think I'm a freak.
Yeah, okay, so guess what? In my cafe, where I can never get kicked out, nobody's gonna tell me I can't say that. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, this is why, you know, this first idea first came to me, whatever, this image, like 2 years ago. It was during the first few months of lockdown that Neutrino Cafe became a label in my mind. Like, this is a place, and it's not fucking Facebook, right? Like, that's the thing in Facebook, you know, you got to go into your mind and you can structure it, and there's asynchronous communication, so somebody can go do something and come back with a different energy and affect this thread, and it's all just like this gargoyle, this like weird hydra that's where some arms are alive and some arms are dead. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like on the threads, like some people are in the conversation and sometimes they're not. So it's not like the outer authorities really meet. It's not like the individuals really meet. And when I try to type stuff and sound smart on Facebook, I mean, it usually doesn't work. I mean, I guess I hit some people. I mean, I've got nice people around, but
this actually segues into the other thing that I really wanted to talk to you about.
Okay, would you like to talk about what you really want to talk about, please?
But it's just perfect because it fits right in. Like being a 6'2" with only fourth line nodes, like
Yeah, okay.
I mean, especially with the undefined G, like I'd be curious to know how much of your past was like trying to be this affluent networker.
I don't know if I tried to be a networker, or I don't know. I don't know. It's a great question because, well, here's one thing I can say. This might be part of that. So basically, since I met human design, I haven't had any normal economy or profession, right? I've had different things happening. But in the 2 years after I was divorced, so I was living on my sailboat basically in this community, Hood River, Oregon. And so and I had income from the divorce, so there was a certain like I didn't have to earn money, but I was still licensed as a lawyer. And so I was like, I'm just going to not plan anything. I'm just going to see what happens if I just try living my life, you know, me and my dog on a sailboat. And basically what happened was I had just the right amount of work as a lawyer. I would go to the coffee shops in the morning, and then a couple nights a week, or maybe even more, I'd go out to live music, you know, that involved booze and or sailboats and live music with my drunken sailor boyfriend. And that's how I met people. That's how I had clients. Did no advertising as a lawyer whatsoever. I just did that. So I've always pointed to that, and gone, you know, there was this time when I didn't have to try to get clients because I would just run into them. So that's kind of a fourth line scene, right?
Yeah. But I'm always so fascinated by it's almost like being so different from the environment that you're in, and like how to live you without trying to become that, especially with the undefined G center.
Well, okay, so Hood River is a community of addicts who are really into themselves. And I'm going to say and I don't mean just alcohol, but that's a big one. They're like really into their microbrews and their wines. And it's like one of the most boozy counties in the state of Oregon. And it's a boozy state, you know. But extreme athletes, there's this extremism thing. I mean, there's like people that will literally climb the mountain, you know, backcountry ski in the morning and then go do a 3,000-foot mountain bike ride in the afternoon and then go sailing in the evening. And so there's coffee and booze and coffee and booze. So something I got to understanding about why I wanted to leave, I was like, dude, I am with these people all this time, you know, like I'm up with the coffee in the morning and then I'm out on my bike and then I'm dancing until 11 and back on my sailboat and do the next thing the next morning. And so I understand from the Open G perspective now that I was kind of exalted in that scene. I was a manifestor. I was a 6'2". I was a second line body. I just naturaled my way through all of that, amplifying all of their energy in this place where the geography was just beautiful and dramatic, and where the wine was good and there was, you know, the right amount of art, but it wasn't stuffy yet because it was only so many. Does that address what any of that?
Yeah, amazing.
So I've somebody pointed it out to me eventually that having an undefined G with only a gate 7 and line 2. So I'm going to go along with what's happening in the scene, right? I'm going to be, so if I'm in the wrong scene, like if I'm in a bad bar, then I'm the Democrat in the bad bar.
Yeah.
And that's something I think about Neutrino Cafe. It's my bar. You know,
Right.
I can leave when I want to. I can fire people. I can hire people. You know, I can change the menu or whatever, but it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it's safe. It's
with
safe for me.
with Pluto transiting gate 60, for you and
Yeah.
I, both of us, it's like a
Yeah.
super once in a lifetime, like mega powerful transit.
Yeah, you have it too. Oh, you're on this also.
Mhm.
Okay, so we both have that mutation channel going on down there, and then we've both got the program via the program. We've got those happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you know what? That's a 1 hour broadcast. Well, we're at 55 minutes. I'm not in a hurry, but I do think I'm going to go dance because my 1 cup of coffee has just gone through me just perfectly. And well, Mr. Dance Teacher, he's got the 214 and the 18 all red through the middle. So I would love to broadcast from there, but I just don't think I have time to set up all of the technology. So I'll probably just record one element of it.
Perfect.
So that's my next plan, but I've still got some time here. Is there anything else you want to share from my chart or from your chart?
I don't know. I kind of feel like the energy has wound down,
Yeah.
and that was whatever was going to come out of me today. But it was
Yeah.
like, it was just fun to banter and to see what was up for discussion. And
Well, thanks for providing the graphic. Thanks for giving your time. Thanks for being so brave. You're so choiceless, splendid projector. You know, like, it's a funny thing to be able to, well, like you said, the correctness of it. This is another thing I want to say about Neutrino Cafe. I want to promote correct type interaction. And I don't know exactly how to do that, except we started this way. I mean, it was correct authority, it was all that. But because correct interaction is so beautiful, it just feels so good. And some people on Facebook aren't ready for that. They don't know yet. And I don't care. They're not welcome at Neutrino Cafe, you know? Um, but but for those people that are ready to be correct about it, there's a frequency that just makes it, at least on my somewhere in my repelling aura, it feels good. So look at that. Let's see. Let's have put my pace. So I'm not necessarily good at ending things, but I could be better. So I'll just say thank you for your time and your energy and the graphics. And oh, I'm going to look at the comments. Rachel says, great to meet Melanie. And
great
she
to
also
meet
said the
you.
graphics really cool.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, so that's another manifestor impact there. So we're going to do it again. This is, I'll mention, I don't know, see, I'm always, look at this. Is this gate 26 talking? I want to say this is fourth line days. And one of my ideas is that fourth line days is a great day for this networky stuff, right? So maybe the cafe is only open 1 day a week until we have staff or something like that. But yeah, I want a nice, cute closing thing to say. I don't have anything. Do you have a cute closing thing to say?
Well, you were speaking about correctness, and I, I don't know. I've been kind of seeing you around for a while, and you were the one who approached me, and you were the one who invited me on here, and it felt super aligned. And I'm I'm excited to practice correctness with you and to just enjoy sharing outer authority with one another. And yeah, I'm humbled and honored. And anytime you'd like to banter, I'm so down.
Okay. Okay. Well, there will be another invitation. Thank you so much for bringing your expertise and outer authority and lovely heretical self to Neutrino Cafe. All right. Until next time.
Mm.
Ciao, Bella.